hello to all our viewers. Welcome to our channel Balazo Sport. And today we have with us a very special guest from Delhi, Nikunj, who has been a lifelong Netherlands fan. And it's been an honor for us to have you here. And we would like to know that from where did your love for Netherlands start?
So basically, the first tournament, like initially, football used to come only on Star Sports. Okay, only one channel used to show football. Early 2000s, late 90s, Star Sports or ESPN. Star Sports का भी आता था रात को. So I started watching Manchester United, and तब से मेरे father used to live in England, studied in England. So he used to tell me कि Netherlands की team बहुत अच्छा football खेलती है. You should watch them. Total football जब time था, तो he was in Europe. So he knew about Netherlands and all. He was like, देखा Netherlands का football देखना बहुत अच्छा खेलते थे. And then they didn't qualify for the 2002 World Cup itself. But they had a great team at Davids, Dennis Bergkamp, Van der Sar, so many people. It was a great team, Jaap Stam. So many players had a United connection as well with Jaap Stam.
Yes.
So Ruud van Nistelrooy, एक बहुत बड़ा reason. So the team was very good, should you say, and a lot of good players, a lot of exciting players, and always played good football. So I started watching Netherlands.
Yes, very true. They are a very exciting team because what I have observed is it is always the favorite of the neutrals. Going into any tournament, if a person doesn't support any team, I usually see that he or she ends up supporting Netherlands, and they play exciting attacking football, no, with courage and passion.
Yeah, basically, since we're in India, they're basically like New Zealand cricket. Very similar to that.
You cannot hate.
You cannot hate Netherlands. Exactly.
Basically,
it's a small country, very passionate.
Yeah, absolutely. And now moving ahead, talking about the team. As we know, 1992 से 2004 तक हमने देखा कि they finished third three times out of four. But after that, they have fallen. They have been disappointing. Like once they
absolutely, especially
they reached. Yes. They reached only the quarterfinals, and once they didn't qualify. And now going ahead into this tournament, what do you think they can do different to perform well and meet the expectations?
देखो 2016 was a 2016 में तो we didn't qualify only.
Yes.
2014 जबकि World Cup में we came third. We beat Brazil in the final and came third. We beat Brazil in the third spot and beat Brazil 3-0. And we were very good in that World Cup. Only lost.
Convincing one. Yes.
Exactly. So we were very good in that World Cup. And Robin was very good. 2016, mein, all these people, Robin, Schneider, they all got very old. So there was not like replacement chain usually comes from either Ajax or PSV. So Ajax, PSV themselves had very bad, that those 2-3 years of phase बहुत weak था in दोनों teams. Youth academies था, in generally as clubs also. So because of that, obviously Netherlands का performance fell. Netherlands के internationally लोग इतने सारे खेल नहीं रहे थे. Even though we knew that De Ligt is going to come, Memphis was getting better, obviously De Jong was getting better, Van Dijk was getting better, but as a team, they were all very young to qualify. To 2016, we should have qualified, no doubt about that. But after missing out on 2016 and then 2018 World Cup as well, I think we are a completely different team. We beat Germany, we have beaten France, we've beaten every team. We've beaten Portugal, we've beaten England. We beat England in Wembley. So we've beaten every team home or away since then. Yeah, of course, the past 12 months has not been that good. But 2020 Euros 2020 mein hota, so we would have had much better chances, I feel.
Yes, I agree. But personally, I would like to see Netherlands do well, obviously, because somehow
we should reach the quarterfinals. Our group is quite easy, and then we'll play the team which comes third in one of the losers. Just like Portugal qualified the last time, they came third and got through. So we might play a weaker team like Turkey or Sweden. So in the pre-quarters, so quarterfinals, so we should reach even with this team. Even with Van Dijk missing today, Van de Beek got injured. He's also out of the tournament. So we have certain injuries in our team, but we should still get to the quarterfinals. No worries.
So okay, going by your opinion, I think quarterfinal is the minimum. Target for the Netherlands, right?
Because our group is very easy.
I agree.
Group is easy, and pre-quarterfinal should be easy if we come first.
Now talking about talking about a
Yeah,
current issue, like we are observing over social media, and also many pundits are also talking about this. They are criticizing the 5-3-2 formation of the manager, De Boer.
yes,
Like they
Frank de
are,
Boer.
they expect Netherlands to play a bit more attacking. Like for example, we can talk about the Scotland draw in the practice games.
Yeah. But in
Uh,
Scotland draw, if you, I saw the game. We had 20 shots, 8 shots on target. It was just one of those days where they had 3 chances, made scored 2. We had 8 chances, we only
mhm.
scored 2. So that game is not the perfect example. Georgia game also, even though we only won 3-0, it could have been 6 or 7 on another day. So I agree. 5-3-2 is not the most. It's not the best defensively either or offensively because Dumfries is not that good going forward. Wyndham is also not that good going forward. So because of that, it's a very, it's defensive minded simply because we are missing Van Dijk. Van Dijk is a huge
Okay.
miss in that center of defense. Because of
The
that,
spine of the
Stefan De Vrij, if he had him fit, he could have played 4-4-2. We could have played De Ligt and Van Dijk. We could have played Stefan De Vrij as a left back. We could have played Daley Blind as a left back. It could have been much better going forward. But because of one injury, we are playing this formation. Though I don't think it should be that big an issue. We should be able to score goals. I think the biggest problem in this team is the strikers, not the formation. We don't have strikers. Memphis is not good enough to score goals in every game. I mean, he's scoring a lot of goals for Netherlands for the past almost 24 months. But I think we are missing that. Netherlands always had a great striker, and they're not having that this time. We had, of course, Bergkamp retire hua to Van Nistelrooy retire hua to Van Persie. We always had people scoring goals forward, good forwards. But in this team, the problem is going forward. Midfield is okay. Defense still is okay. De Vrij is, Italian champion, won with the Serie A champion, and De Ligt is one of the best centre backs. Upcoming centre backs in the world.
Youth
So
prospect, yes.
the problem won't be the centre backs. I mean, even Daley Blind had a great season. So centre backs would not be a problem. I agree with you that formation. We can't go for 4-4-2 or we can't go for a 4-3-3 simply because we are missing a huge centre back in Van Dijk. Had Van Dijk been fit, we might have played another formation. So I'm not going to criticize the formation for the result against Scotland or the past 12 months, which haven't been great, as we have already talked before. But having said that, the formation is not the problem, it's the personnel which we are missing, because of which we have to play this formation.
Talking about this, do you think Koeman's departure to Barcelona has been a major talking point, major impact?
Absolutely. Had, as I was talking to you earlier before the podcast started, had the Euro started in 2020, we had a much better team and a much better manager and a very well settled team. We could have reached semi-finals quite easily. I mean, we looked like a very good team, even on paper, with so many people playing for big clubs, Van Dijk, De Ligt, De Jong. Memphis is at Barcelona now. So of course, losing a manager of Koeman's, because this is Koeman's team, to be very honest. This is not De Boer's team. This team belongs to Koeman, and De Boer just took over, had to play another formation, had to live up with, missing Van Dijk. So yeah, of course, we miss Koeman going into the tournament. But I don't think, with this personal, Koeman could have done anything more. I mean, it would have been still the same formation or similar formation. We would have played 3 at the back for sure, even if it was Koeman. So yeah, of course, we'll miss him. But it won't be such a big miss because the missing personal, 2-3 players which you are missing will be bigger than missing a manager or playing another formation.
I agree. Now talking about the players, we received the latest news of Van der Beek getting injured on the training ground, and we all know Virgil van Dijk has been injured for the past 5 to 6 months, and I think De Ligt is also an injury scare right now. He's on
De Ligt is not completely fit. You're right.
Yeah. Now, like these are big players for Netherlands. These are not bench players. These are impact players. How can Netherlands minimize the effect of missing these players? How can they cover up for these players in the tournament?
So of course Van der Beek was a great option off the bench, but Van der Beek will be missed the least, I think, out of the 3. If De Ligt goes, it will be a major problem, of course. Van Dijk, as I told you, we have to play 3 at the back. We have to play Daley Blind at left centre back, even though he can play left back very easily. I mean, last international tournament he played, if you remember, that Van Persie goal, that diving header.
Yes.
That was a pass by Daley Blind. The flying
Yes, yes.
Dutchman. Yeah, so that was a pass by Daley Blind. Daley Blind, even though he has lost a lot of pace in the recent years, he's still a very good left back because he can cross the ball very well and he can, he's a good defender in general. So we're going to miss that. We don't have such good full backs as let's say the previous Netherlands teams. But so Van Dijk, we have to cover it by playing three at the back. I think De Vrij is a good centre back. De Ligt is a good
Replacement, yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
I think De Ligt might be fit. From what I heard on the Netherlands board. I mean, I go on the IX board quite regularly. From what I've heard, he might be fit for the second or the third game. I mean, he's obviously in the spot still. So
Yes, I think he's touch and go right now. He's touch and go right now.
For the first game, not for the second or the third game.
Yes.
Second game, he should be there. And even though if he doesn't come for the second game, third game he'll be there. So in the later half of the tournament, I think we'll just drop Daley Blind or De Vrij for De Ligt. Like De Ligt will play for the second game and the third game, I think.
Yeah, I think having
your question was,
will
we miss Van Dijk? Of course, we'll miss Van Dijk a lot. I mean, he was the center rock in the back of the team, and we're going to miss him a lot. But it's okay, we'll have to live with it. I think this team is being built for the next World Cup, which is only next year, by the way. The World Cup is next year.
Yes.
So, we have to be ready for the World Cup, even more than Euros. Of course, this tournament is extremely important. But I think World Cup, this team will do much better. The same team which we are talking about right now, they should reach the quarterfinals this time, but should reach the semi-final of the World Cup. Because then everyone should...
They'll gain the important experience of playing in a good tournament. Like that team will
gel much better. Because they have not played
better.
in a tournament. We reached the Nations League final, which we lost in Portugal. But, that tournament was not that important. I mean, it was just a glorified friendly. Even though we played very well in that tournament, no doubt about that. But this will be a proper test. I mean, learning experience for a lot of players, I guess. And Netherlands always punches above its weight. You can see it, 2010 World Cup. Nobody expected us to reach the final. Nobody expected us to reach the final. Even though we played bad football. And even 14 World Cup, nobody expected us to so easily beat Spain. I mean, 5-1 was a huge scoreline. So we always punch above our weight. And on the bigger stage, our problem is quarterfinal, semi-final, final, and not the group stages. We usually get out of the group stages. Except 2020, 12 Euros, where we just blew up. Except that, we never go out of the group stages. Like you mentioned, we have come third so many times. 1988, we won the Euros. It's the only international tournament Netherlands has won. So I think we have a good experience going forward. This team will gain a lot of experience, reach the quarterfinals, maybe get knocked out by, let's say, Portugal or England, one of those teams, and build for the World Cup next year, which will be hugely important.
Yes, Netherlands punching above the weight is very, very good for football and the neutral fans. Because I have a soft corner for Netherlands and I want them to qualify for the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. It is very, very good for them to be on the big stage, facing the big teams. Now moving ahead, we have talked about the important players, but I have one question for you. Like France have Kylian Mbappe, Portugal have Cristiano Ronaldo, England have Harry Kane, and Belgium have Kevin De Bruyne. Who do you think can be the game changer, that match winner for Netherlands this Euro tournament? If you have to choose any one player, you can expect
only one player I can choose.
Yes.
If I can only choose one player, it has to be Memphis Depay, because he's been playing up forward, up front alone. I mean, if he has good tournament, if he has 2-3 good days, I think we can easily reach the semi-final. If he has a good quarter-final, he can beat anyone. Because as you can see, except France, maybe no other team has good centre backs. So he'll be a really pain for most of the centre backs England, all the teams you've talked about don't have good centre backs. Belgium don't have good centre backs. They have aging centre backs. France, only France has good centre backs. Nobody else has good centre backs. So Memphis, with his trickery, with his pace, with his strength, if he has a good day, lot depends on his day. He's not like, of course, not as reliable as Harry Kane or even Kevin De Bruyne or Lukaku, who's great on the international level. He's not reliable, but on his good day, he's as good as anyone else. So I think if you're talking about one game changer, it has to be him. But behind that, De Jong has good days. He's a great ball carrier. The way he carries the ball through the midfield, it's great. So of course, De Jong will be a very important player. But the person who can make us reach the latter stages of the tournament has to be Memphis. If
The
Memphis
final
Depay has a
step.
bad day, nobody else can do anything. I mean, nobody else can make up for what he does. So I think it has to be Memphis Depay.
Yes, I think he is that vital point for the Netherlands team to click right now. And
Absolutely,
I also think that he'll be very eager to prove himself because he's on the radar of Barcelona, as we know. He
I mean,
might be.
I think he'll join Barcelona at the end of the
Yes, yes.
window. I
Yeah,
personally feel so.
he might be very eager to prove Barcelona right now. And
Absolutely.
maybe if he forms a good partnership with De Jong, it might be good
Yeah.
signs of Barcelona too going into the future.
Yeah.
And
People don't realize, I mean, he had a very flashy lifestyle as a United fan as well.
Yes.
I know he had a very flashy lifestyle. He had issues, got into rap and things like that. But since moving to Lyon, that person has matured a lot. He keeps talking about what he got wrong at United. Understanding what he got wrong is very important. Some people just go like, United didn't treat me well or things like that. Memphis is like, I didn't treat United well. I didn't deserve to. I
that
deserve
number
to
7
be
jersey.
sold. That number 7 jersey, I didn't do justice to my time there. So he accepts that, and that's a huge step, I think. And that's why I feel he'll be a great signing for Barcelona as well. And he'll do well for Netherlands in this Euros and the next World Cup. I personally feel so. He'll be in the running for gold. Golden Boot. I feel
top goal scorer.
Yeah, because our group is easy, so he might score 2-3 goals in one of those games, and you only need 5 or 6 goals to win the Golden Boot in Euros.
Yes. Cristiano Ronaldo has till now 9 goals in 21 games. He's the second top goal scorer in Euros all time. So 5 to 6 goals will surely make sure you are.
Absolutely. Milan Baros won with 6 goals in 2004.
Yes.
Wayne Rooney and Milan Baros equaled. So
yes.
I mean, and he was just a striker for Aston Villa. So Euros is a very open tournament. I think Euros is harder to win than even the World Cup. I personally agree. Because you keep getting quality teams in quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. You'll play quality. If you beat England, you'll play Portugal. If you beat Portugal, you play Germany. If you beat Germany, you play France. So you have such big games in Euros. So I always feel Euros, if you have 2-3 good days, you can easily win the tournament. Even though it's harder to win because you have to win against bigger teams. So I feel if you win against bigger teams, which this team has been good at, even though it was under a different manager and a different captain, I feel this team can still, on a good day, can beat anyone. Except maybe just say France. But everyone else, I think, on an equal footing. Even though we are missing key players and a key manager, as we have already talked about.
Now, moving ahead, as we have already discussed about the fans' expectations from the Netherlands team, like they expect at least a quarter-final match from Netherlands this time around. A little bit different question talking about other teams. Other than Netherlands, who do you think can be the the contender for the Euro 2020 trophy this time?
So, of course, France will be a massive favourites because they have such a deep squad. They have a lot of players in form. They just got Benzema back. The only problem they had was not having a striker. So they have probably the best striker.
Lethal striker.
Probably the best striker of Euros. The most important striker of Euros. I mean, Harry Kane needs support. Benzema will do everything even on a bad day. He will close people down. Will run in the channels. He'll make space for others. He's just Oliver Giroud, just a better striker. I mean, Oliver Giroud, everything he used to do in the 2018 World Cup for France, he does all of that, and he's a better striker. So I think France will be very hard to beat. I mean, if you ask me to put my money on some team, it has to be France.
Yeah,
even though I hope Netherlands can win, but I think France will probably be the favorites.
Yes, as Arsene Wenger yesterday said about it, that France's bench can beat a team in the Euros because they have 11 good players on the bench also, similar to the City squad.
Absolutely. They are probably, if they were a club, they would even be better than Manchester City.
Yes.
That's the kind of quality France has right now.
So, okay, Nikunj, it was very nice talking to you. And we hope that Netherlands do well so that Netherlands fans can have a very good 1 month going ahead now. And Memphis Depay and De Ligt, I think, will be the most important players. Let's hope it's a Netherlands party this time in Euro 2020,
Yeah, I hope
and it was our pleasure to have you. It was very good to have a guest from Delhi. Hope to have you in some other podcast also in the knockout stages.
Yeah, man. I'll be happy to join.
So to all our viewers right now, please share the video to all of your friends. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel. And also go and check our Instagram page and Twitter page. The link of the same will be given in the description below. Thank you and have a good one.